3, 2, 1. Tap, 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 tap. Is this thing on? Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Welcome, 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 welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox, running on my Series X, on the Red Ship map in Creative, and new player guide. And we're still on Creative. This new player guide is going to be all about the radials. There are two radials when you're working with a controller and Space Engineers that you need to know how to use. The first is when you click in the left stick. You will be given a bunch of options. You will see at the bottom, close, confirm, your PCU on a Series X. That's a core PCU in Solo of 500,000. On the beta, or beta, that is 1 million. There's also switching the grid size, which is the left bumper and X between small and large grid. Then you will have recent blocks, light armor, heavy, excuse me, production and medical, gas and logistics, ship essentials, wheels and weapons, comms and hangars, Windows and high tech, advanced, your decoration 1, 2, 3, and your symbols. If you're running mods after symbols, you'll see mods. I'm not running mods. To select any block from the radial, use the left stick. You've got your recent blocks, which will be replaced as you use them. So for instance, if I go here and I select the light armor slope, 211 base, tap in the right bumper, you can see that appears. Because I'm in Creative, I can just paste it down. If I want to get rid of it, I hit the left trigger to get rid of it. Now you'll see that in the recent blocks, the light armor slope has moved, and it's here. So this is a good way if you're using a lot of armor blocks to build, of setting up blocks to build with. So that's your left radial. You'll also see the build planner, but we'll discuss the build planner when we come to survival mode, which will be eventually once I'm done with all the creative side of things. Remember, hold down the left bumper, press B, you'll remove any block or weapon or tool or the paint tool from your hand. Right stick, click it in. Now you have a bunch of quick actions. You can toggle your camera mode. You can turn your broadcast antenna off, and it shows you the shortcuts for these as well. Toggle your helmet on and off. Show your contracts. Select the color tool. Toggle the HUD. Turn your lights on and off. And your dampeners. Then you have your blueprint actions. In creative mode, you will be able to create a blueprint, copy, cut, and paste. In survival, you can only create blueprints. Then you have your menu, your chat, your admin menu, which we will talk about again later on in another video, because I can do an entire new player guide on the admin menu. There's a lot of features there. The help screen. If you're struggling with Space Engineers, you want to know a control for something, open this up, select basic controls, or rather gamepad controls and advanced gamepad. These two will tell you all the controls in the game on the gamepad. Blueprint screen, progression tree, respawn, player screen, and to answer someone's question who left a message on my YouTube, how do you spawn in things like ice, uranium, and so on, resources in Creative? Well, you go to the spawn menu, hit confirm. And then let's pick something. Let's pick, say, cobalt ore. Change the amount. Let's say 100. Confirm it. Now, how I did that was I used A to select the cobalt ore, left stick down to move to the amount, and left stick again, spawn object. Now I can spawn cobalt ore. When I press the right trigger, it will drop, and then I can pick it up. If I wanted to spawn cobalt ore directly into a cargo container or ice or whatever, I would point at the cargo container, I would open up my spawn menu again, I would choose my amount, and this time I would choose spawn into targeted container. Let's spawn 200. Now you'll hear the refinery come to life as it takes aboard the cobalt ore, and you'll see it refining that, look. It's the same as if I wanted to put ice into this generator here. I would open my spawn menu, I would change cobalt ore to ice. I would change the amount. Let's do the maximum amount, 999999, and spawn into targeted container. There we go. The maximum amount is in that container now. That's the spawn menu. The spawn menu is pretty impressive because it doesn't just do items. I'm not going to cover this in any great detail at the moment, but if you look at the top of the spawn menu, you'll see that it can also spawn a bunch of other things in. There we go. Sometimes you have to come out of the spawn menu and do it again. You can spawn in procedural asteroids, planets, and empty voxel maps. I wouldn't play around with planets unless you are in an empty system, so you can just get used to how it does it. Okay, moving on. That's this bit, the menu. Then there's the view. Spectator mode, signal mode, and active contracts. So signal mode is basically this. It shows all sorts of information that's useful for when you're building. Actually, did I toggle signal mode or did I turn voxel hands on? That's always good for the shortcuts on Space Engineers. Sometimes don't. There you go. Full. No names. Off. Default. Full. Yeah, I think they changed the command. I think voxel hands may well now be RBA rather than signal mode. Thank you, Keen. There's voxel hands. That just basically means you can literally paint the voxels and deform the terrain at will. Let's see if I can do it over here. And you can completely just add more voxels. You can change all sorts of things. I'll leave you to experiment with that, but I will actually be doing a complete video on voxel hands. And that's your last part of the right stick menu. So those are your radials in creative mode. And there's one more thing to know about the radials. They will alter when you have a block in hand. This is what I wanted to talk about. So let's pick our favorite light armor block. Now let's click in the right stick. Now we have some different options. Those are all the same, but we have this menu, the build menu. Toggle multi-block building. Line, plane, single block. I tend to use line. As I showed before, you can pull out an entire line of blocks. You can change the placement mode. This is really useful if you're building on a planet and you can't get things to align properly. LBRT will allow you to put down a block properly on the ground. You can toggle the auto rotation of a block on or off, and you can enable or disable symmetry mode. Symmetry mode is one of the more interesting ways of building in Creative. What does it do? Well, let's have a quick look. Entering the symmetry setup allows us to look at our plane of symmetry, and you can see it there. Now, these commands on your shortcut are leave symmetry setup and basically toggle the block on the up direction, lock a plane of symmetry on the right, change the plane of symmetry on the down, and undo a lock on the left. So if we wanted to build on the left and right side of this particular platform, we just lock this plane of symmetry, push up on the D-pad, choose the block we wanted, and what we build on the left will be mirrored on the right, and vice versa. This also counts for when you're painting. See, it's very easy to very quickly build up a structure using symmetry mode. Good for ships like this one over here. What you build on the left is echoed on the right. And when you're deleting blocks, pay careful attention to where you delete them in symmetry mode, because sometimes when you delete on the right or the left, it won't delete the one on the other side. Or if you cut a block here like this, then it won't delete that block over there. There you go. And if you need to change the plane of symmetry, again, you have to come back into symmetry mode with the block, enter symmetry setup, and as I said, you can see that this is your line of symmetry here. If you want to stop using that one, press left on the D-pad. If you want to change it, push down on the D-pad, and you'll move it off center to the edge of a block. And when you press it again, you will change it from vertical to horizontal, green. And again, you can change to the top of a block. And then you can change the plane to the other side in blue and to the side of the block. And then again, you're completely out of symmetry. So come back in and you're back to where you were. You can lock multiple planes of symmetry at once. So, like this. Bit strange. Probably wouldn't need to do that, but you can do it. And it will delete things underneath as well. And again, to get rid of all that, if you want to turn it off, you can hold down the left bumper and press left on the D-pad, and you'll toggle symmetry on and off. But if you want to get rid of it completely, you're going to have to enter symmetry setup again, and you're going to have to go through your planes of symmetry, select them, and remove them one by one. There you go. And that is a quick introduction to symmetry, the radials of Space Engineers on the controller, how to use the spawn menu off the right stick radial, and how to build, or at least start building with symmetry mode. Hopefully you found this useful. This new player guide. I'll be moving on to survival soon enough. I will be talking next about large ship building in creative to give you an idea of how to get started with that and what you need to think about when you're making a large ship, whether it's iron or hydrogen. If it's hydrogen, then you're going to have to think about how your infrastructure in that ship works. I've done it with small grid, but I've not yet done a large grid tutorial in that regard. So until then, stay safe, take care, have fun, enjoy the game. Remember to reach out if you have any questions. And as we rocket closer to 1,000 subs, remember that Paul Thompson has offered, when he's completed his build on the Jaeger, to release it to subscribers of this channel. So stay tuned for that. Once that build is done, it's going to be epic. Bye for now.